Hello.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, everyone.
And then hello, Prince Charles Cinema. Woo! My God, this has been the biggest stress of my life. Not this. Hello, thank you so much for being here. Nikki's going to start the first question, and then we're going to open it up to the floor. Everything okay? Great, thank God. Prince Charles says yes. Great.
Okay.
Cool.
Let me start by saying that I'm so grateful and proud to be here with every one of you to celebrate this man's films that we've just seen on screen and to celebrate kind of an end of an era, the era of Alexander Vlahos' short film.
Thank you for that clarification.
I thought I was going to skip it. I thought it was going to be the end of it then.
Where was the rest of the sentence?
Thank you.
Okay, so starting this off by, we have now seen our films. You've seen our films for the first time on the big screen.
Yeah.
And what is a thread? What is the journey? What is a through line through all of your work so far that you are going to take with you on the journey that's ahead?
Yeah. I was thinking about when I was watching them all. I've never sat down and watched them all in one big swoop. So that was a bit like, whoa. For me, the biggest thematic thing that runs through them all is exploring human emotions, humanity. And God, I love watching two very talented actors like someone like Ferdy and Emma per se, or maybe Anna and Lewis and Sophie, but not me, and Peter and Catherine and people, and Peter and Mark especially, just sit in silence with each other, and there's so much to say on their face, and they choose not to speak, or they do speak, but it's not what they want to say. I love that. Those are the films that I love to watch, drama, and but yeah, the theme I think is humanity, what it is, what it means to be human, and whether that's relationships falling apart, or whether someone wants to be a drag act, or whether one person just wants to be a mod, or God, even in the music videos, it feels very, what it means to be, a dictated director to a ballerina, or a guy who's singing a love song to a fair maiden who's passed away in the sea. They're all, I think they, apart from the visual styles of them, I believe that they all have a very common thread. I hope you agree.
Yes,
Silence.
definitely.
They're definitely not all comedies.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There's not a laugh in the house, was there? I was desperately trying to push the laugh at one point, nothing happened. But yeah, what do you think, having worked on every single one of them? I'm putting the question back to you. What do you think the themes are? Actually, wasn't expecting this.
Not expecting this. To see exciting frames, to see exciting actors being able to take the reins and run with it, getting some freedom from their director to just be in a space. What?
Okay. A bit closer.
Okay. And to be moved, to be really, really moved.
That's good. I hope that happened. Do we have any questions? Is there a microphone here? There's a microphone here. So if you came down a little bit, so anyone have any questions? There's one over there, PJ. PJ, of course. PJ, who was the executive producer at Phoenix Rising Media, who did Here We Are. So
I had to have the first question.
Of
Thank
course
you
you
very
did.
much, Alex and Nikki. This was such a wonderful event.
No worries.
And allowing us to be part of it. So my question for you, Alex, and Nikki as well. Up until the sort of IM1, the films were almost dialogueless, which was a very interesting choice. And then you went sort of from that
I
into
went to
IM1,
the massive extreme, didn't I? Yeah.
sort of intensive, beautifully delivered sort of dialogue between two characters. I'm just wondering if you found that challenging and if that changed your directing style at all.
I found that I desperately needed to not have any dialogue in it, in all the films that I did, because I was so busy, making sure that I was a good director and I could focus on other things. Weirdly, the dialogue got in the way. So yeah, it came down to, I will tell you the honest truth, is that if I submitted a film that had no dialogue to BBC Wales, they would have laughed me out of the building. So it was very much a conscious decision that I needed to do. And also, this is the thing, this is the crux. I had so much to say when it came to I Am One. I had so much to say. My dad isn't here, neither is my mum, so I can speak quite honestly about it. It's a relationship about me and my father that I've hoodwinked everyone and say, no, I'm setting it in the 60s. And even when I sat down with my dad and watched it in Bristol, my dad went, that was very good. That was very good. I enjoyed that very much. And my stepmom was like, Rob, it's about you, you idiot. He went, no. And then he looked at me and went, going out for a cigarette. Brilliant. I think I had so much to say with I Am One, so that the dialogue flowed quite easily with that. And it's about being brave. I felt I wasn't brave enough with Lola, or here we are really, to introduce dialogue. Kind of added a nice little thing that, you know, both of my first two films were dialogue free. And when people met me, they're like, God, you speak so much. How did you do this? And I thought, yeah, great, I'll have that as my little chink in my armor. But yeah, it was building through bravery, I think, building through things. And funny enough, we've been working on 2 feature films right now. The Lord Won't Mind for CowHouse, and then Sheila Summer with me and Evan with CowHouse. And they're the most dialogue-driven feature films you've ever seen.
Yep.
Sheila Summer especially, Evan's written a tome of the Bible. And we're trying to desperately get him to cut at least 20 pages. And he's like, everything's so good. I'm like, yes, Evan, it is, but we must cut. And The Lord Won't Mind is going to be sort of slowly translated into Welsh. And anyone who does speak Welsh and knows the Welsh language, by cutting, you add more words in Welsh. It'll become double the size just by naturally fluing into Welsh language. But yeah, thank you, PJ. There's a question here, Neve. Yeah. Neve, everyone, who's the composer for I Am One, who did the beautiful music for the last one. So this is what happens if you ask a question, sometimes you might get a round of applause.
Thank you, Alex. My question is, obviously you're coming into a new era of film now.
Correct, yeah, my phase 2 of Marvel.
Phase
exactly,
2, yeah. It's like the second year of Marvel Universe. So I'm wondering what from these 4 short films and music videos have you learned, and what are you going to take from them into your new season?
This is a really good question, because I have learned to make decisions quickly and stick by them. That's the biggest thing that I've learned, is that there are things that I'm watching, all of them, that I think, oh, I could have done that different. I should have done that different. Maybe that wasn't the right frame. Maybe that wasn't the right shot. Maybe that wasn't the right camera move. But on the day, when everyone's looking to you to make a decision, I've always been the one I'm quite proud to be the one that goes, this is what we're doing. I haven't fallen out with Chiro, the DOD, but we have had quiet conversations outside where he's gone, really? Is this what you want to do? And I say, listen, yes. In my head, I'm going, no! But I 100% believe that this is the right thing to do at that time. There are mistakes in it. There's some things in it. But that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that I've not learned. The biggest thing that I'm going to take with me is that I need to continue that. When it goes from short films, which are 2-3 days, music videos in a day, to a feature film, we're talking about 21 days on Sheila Summer to shoot. I can't even imagine the mistakes that I'm going to make. But as long as I'm committing to it, I commit to this decision. And I'll take the consequences if it doesn't work out in the edit. Well, I won't. Craig will. Alex, what have you done? I know, I made a decision. And there was a second part to your question. That was the first one. What was the second part?
Oh, you basically answered it.
Great, fantastic, thrilled. Thank you, Nick. Give her another round of applause for beautiful music. Any of the people that have paid? Yes, there's a question down here, all the way down here, right in front. You probably don't need a mic, but we may as well have it anyway. For the guys on YouTube, you need a microphone.
Hi, Alex. My
Hi.
question is, you are a creative person,
No.
and how can we imagine the process from your idea to getting it, on a screen?
You don't want to be in my brain. It's the process. So I'll tell you for example. So Watchtower, and also give a round of applause to Sophie Hawkins, by the way. Sophie. She was the only lady that could play that part. Watchtower, I had the idea in the shower and I wrote it in the day, and it didn't change. The script didn't change. That was the thing we shot. I sent it to you. Came out of the shower, and I was with a towel, and Julie's like, "What are you doing?" And I was dripping with water over my laptop. I said, "Shush!" And I typed it all out. And I sent it to Nikki, and the script didn't change. So the process of that was that I had the idea and I knew how I wanted to tell the story. I Am One took a year and a half to get all the clinks and all the chinks and all the things into place. The process is through trial and elimination, throwing stuff against the wall. The reason why me and Nikki first started, before CowHouse, before the pandemic, started bonding with each other was because I used to call Nikki my soundboard. Wasn't it? That's what I used to say. It was, I would send you maybe 2-3 excerpts of the scene with terrible characters and stuff, and I would send it to you. And Nikki would send it back with either notes or a voice note or a lovely email review. And I would then go, okay, some of this is good, some of this is good. I wouldn't really explain to Nikki where it was leading to. I would say that having someone like Nikki has been the biggest blessing because it means that I can fuck up and still save face. I'm not sending a 3-page script to the BBC and they go, God, it's awful, we'll never see anything from him again. I'm sending it to someone that I deeply trust. And that person then sends it back to me with really well, beautifully written, orchestrated notes. Basically, the rule is always have a Nikki.
So you can say you're equal partners.
I hope you believe that you're an equal partner in all of this, because I want you to believe that. Like I said at the start, I couldn't do it without her, and I mean that in regards to ideas. Some of them, we've got a script that you absolutely adore that I've written ages ago called Hello Harry. No one wants to make Hello Harry. Hello Harry's going to cost a lot of money for a short film. It's got VFX and stuff like that. And every time I get a new idea from a short, Nikki's always like, she'll just reply, but what about Harry?
Oh yeah.
Because you really love it, don't you?
Yeah.
And I could give or take it right now.
It would be done to laugh.
Yes, it would be. God, it would be a comedy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine I saying that out? We went to making it. No laughs. But yeah, it was. So yeah, my process is making sure that I have a safe space to share. I say something for Julie when she has time. She gives it a read. You do. And also like once the script is sort of locked, when the money's in and we know we're about to shoot, cast well. That's the biggest thing that I've learned is if you cast brilliant people, they elevate your script tenfold. Mark Lewis Jones as the dad in I Am One. He made very, very, like Peter's here, but he made so beautifully subtle decisions that I mean, it's Mark Lewis Jones. I say, well, you do whatever you want. But he made these beautiful, nuanced things that made the dad feel, rather than it being quite 2D, like he's a guy from the war, he's an alcoholic, doesn't look after his son, thinks his son's an idiot. He made these beautiful, nuanced decisions. So the script never stops evolving. That's the thing. And also, even when you get into the edit with Craig, we made decisions that this performance is better, and and you put it all together, and then the music comes up. So yeah, as in terms of the process, have a safe space. Have an editor that you love and trust. Have someone that that you work alongside, that you can send something in the middle of the night, 2 pages on voice note, and she gets back to you the next morning with actual good notes. I know it says in Evening Lights, I know there's so many people around me that have helped me get all these things right. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Nadra. Hi Nadra.
Hey.
Hey. Nadra was one of the executive producers on Lola, by the way. Give her a We're all here. We've all helped out and get this far.
I'm just curious as to how much you think your directorial skills are fed from what you've learned from being an actor and how you would like to be directed. So these two things, I mean, I think they are closely linked.
They're so closely linked, Nadra. This is a really good question because I don't think I'd be as good of a director as if I had not been an actor. I've done a lot of TV, a couple of films, but mostly TV in my career. And with TV, with something like Merlin and Versailles, Sanditon, Outlander, you get a carousel of directors that come in. They do 2 episodes. Especially on Versailles, a director would come in and I'd go, "Good God, I don't want to ever be directed like. I don't want to be a director like you. You are not getting the best out of us. You are." Not to name any names, but there's one director that came in and sat down with me and George Black in the very start of season 3. He said, "I'm here to save the show." And within 12 days, he came up to me with these cups, these plastic cups, with all the cast's name on it, like Marie-Thérèse and Louis XIV. And he was like, "Alex, help me. Where do people sit?" And I was like, so he lost all of his creative ideas by 12 days. And I said, "Thank God you're here to save the show, though, right?" So I was watching someone like him, and I was like, "God, I don't want to be like him." But then also on the same show, Ed Bazalgette, who's a wonderful director, he allowed me and George and Evan and people to be these wonderful characters. He gave us freedom. And I was like, I want to be that person. I want to be the director that gives actors freedom. So you pinch, you steal. We always our little thing that we say, steal from the best. There's nothing wrong with stealing from the best. And so being the actor's director, I do believe that I am an actor's director. Sophie, am I an actor's director? She's with the gun to her head. Am I an actor's director?
I also just got really excited to work with them as well, and I want to do that.
Very good. Yes. But yeah, so it's thanks. It's about Peter, actor's director.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Jackson the host. It's I believe that I want to give them the space, but also I'm very precise. That's the thing that I found with other directors that were a bit like, should we go with you've done 2 takes, and the director's like, "Yeah, I'm really happy with that one. Actors, you really happy? Yeah, great. Should we just do one for an option?" My God, it drives me fucking mad. Because I'm also really conscious of the crew. I'm also really conscious that the crew need to go home to their wives and their kids and their husbands. And if one for an option, just because the director thinks we should, adds an extra 10 minutes to the day, then no. So I'm conscious of the crew. I'm also very precise. Hopefully an actor. And what it's going to take, and from acting, then what I found, having now directed and going on to shows, is that I sort of get myself a little bit into trouble. Because like the Lindsay Lohan Netflix movie that I'm doing, I ended up just like, I would go onto set and I'd be like, "So what lens are you using?" "Oh, really?" I would end up being, and the director's like, "Listen, we've hired you, just be an actor." And it's very hard for my ADHD brain to try and plug into one sometimes when I'm really happy being both. And a writer, throw that into the mix, good God, a mess. But yeah, thank you so much. Anyone else?
Let's get one from the online people.
Oh, there's one from an online
Yeah.
people. Yes.
I've got one.
You've got
Okay,
one, thank
yes.
God.
So
Completely forgot. Hi, YouTube, sorry.
one of the most difficult questions. There is someone asking, which one is your favorite?
Oh,
of all the
oh.
films, and why?
Right, this is going to be controversial, but Lola's my favourite. Only because without Lola, there'd be none of them. And Lola was the risk. No one wanted to work with me. We had to make, like you saw all those names that came up in the end. It was just full of Kickstarter people giving 20, 30 pounds. They knew me as an actor, and they were and people, some of the crew didn't want to work with me. We only got really good camera crew because we decided to shoot on 35mm. We didn't shoot it. Lola was we shot on film, and the rest is digital. Just stupid as a first film idea, but yeah, I think favorite is a and there's no favorite. It's like choosing your babies, but without Lola, there would be no An Evening With, because Lola did so well. I surprised a lot of people with Lola. We sent it off to festivals, and it did so well. Manchester, Norwich, and we started doing really well at festivals. And Lewis won Best Actor, Rinze won Best Supporting Actor, Anna won Best Actress, I won Best Director, Best Ensemble. All these awards were picking up in the first one. And I remember Alexander Preston, who was the online producer and the producer for Here We Are, he said, "This shouldn't happen. For your first, this shouldn't happen." I remember sending it to George Webster, and I've got a voice note from you when we were in France, and you said, "Fuck you." Remember that? And I sent it to you in the hotel, and you were like, "This shouldn't happen." So I feel like it was an anomaly in a weird way. It was an anomaly that the first one went so well and did so well. So, but yeah, without Lola, there'd be none of this. And that is something that I probably wouldn't have said before coming in here, which is weird. But watching Lola, I go, oh gosh, like I can see bits in Lola that I've definitely taken forward to all the other movies. So yeah, and Lola gave me a little bit of my directing identity that I kept, which is nice. Can you imagine if Lola was this beautiful cinematic thing and then suddenly it was a whole shit show afterwards? What happened, pal? I don't know. First time luck, maybe. There's this, yes, you here. Question? With the microphone. Hello, everyone. Hello, you. Hello, Alex. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
I'm Sharon from Newcastle.
Yay! Everyone gets a cheer, baby.
Thank you. Yes, I was going to ask about something about the technical side of
Sure.
the films. So, what was the best scene to film technically, and what was the worst?
Oh, very good. So the best technically to film was actually the beach fight in Iron One. Because on paper, I didn't know what I was trying to do. I was like, good God, I knew I had a plan. And I knew if I only shot it one way. And the problem with the beach was that if you shot one way, you had sea and rocks. And if you shot the other way, you had a very modern fourth call. So we didn't shoot in Brighton, we shot in Wales. So we shot at the fourth call. And there was like lights and, modern cars. So we had to work out a way that we would shoot it one way. And then when we did the reverse, it was still the same way. And you flip it, and it was a head fuck. It was a bit of a head fuck. But once we got it into the edit, there were still bits. Greg's rolling his eyes. He's like, Alex, it wasn't like that. It was still a bit of a head fuck to get it to put it together. But I'm so proud. We had, I think, 10 extras and maybe 10 bodies of mods and rockers. But the way that we shot it, the super zoom lens and tight, meant that it felt really busy. There's about 20 people there. And we just got them to double up, we got them to change costumes. It was a bit of a technical nightmare, a long time filming, like 4 hours. We got someone who was dressed as a mod, put him into a leather jacket on that side, a kid that was dead on the floor, you're standing up and suddenly you're a copper. Like it was literally like a merry-go-round. And then I kept it in my head to Chiro going, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. Because you just kept seeing, and also we weren't seeing black and white, obviously, so we were like, and 4x3, all these different things. So yeah, that was a technical thing that actually paid off. The worst thing, the worst thing. Okay. It looks great, but it was a pain. It was the boat scene, and here we are. Someone said yes, it was. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That's Chantal, who's the first assistant director on Here We Are. So give her a round of applause. We scheduled it that the boat scene was the last thing to be shot, which made sense. No, it doesn't. We should have shot it first. But we had a day and a half to film Here We Are, and we had to be out there. What we were lucky with, we planned to be all on one boat. And they were like, you're not going to film on one boat. So we ended up putting Ferdy and Emma with life jackets out to sea. And then we sort of followed them with the speedboat. And they were like, we had no contact with them. We didn't have any walkie-talkies or anything. So we were shouting, all right, now row. And they're like, which way? And I'm like, I don't care. But we would be and it'd be me, you, and Chiro and Theo, the sound guy. We'd all be going round them, sort of like this, trying to get some footage. And and for what it is on screen, which is about 35 seconds, it was about 4.5 hours of filming.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, it looks great for that one shot.
Yeah.
Good God, trying to get Emma to turn with the right mountain in the background, to then get Ferdy to look at her with a different mountain. The boat just kept turning this.
Oh no.
And we were doing the other way. So I was just like, we get like 3 seconds. Film, cut. It would be like that. Proper nightmare. So yeah, that was a technical one. And for what it is on screen, is it worth it? I don't know. But yeah. What do you say? Yes, it is worth it. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it does look pretty awesome. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
For sure. And just a couple of quick questions regarding Watchtower.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yes. So the shot in the shower,
Yes.
how many takes?
One.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
because
it would be been go on.
Watchtower was the biggest head fuck for me in terms of I keep swearing. I'm so sorry. Biggest headache for me because during COVID, we started filming January the 9th. We had a COVID safe set. Our producer Grace Nelda ended up catching COVID, so she couldn't be on set. Nikki couldn't obviously come over from Germany. So I was the director, writer, actor, producer, caterer, taxi driver.
Wow.
I was everything. And Chiro, the DOP, got me a lovely little, I call it a toaster, but it's like a Nintendo Switch. It's like the monitor's here. So the camera's over there. So I'd be looking at the frame and going, okay, good. Putting it down and then going, oh God, I got to remember to act. Like, because I was just to be able to jump from actor to playing Freddie, who's a functioning heroin addict. It's not an easy step. It's not like a straight. It was a big jump. The shower scene. I found that if everything was in place, we would rehearse a lot for Watchtower. Rehearse. Make sure everything works. The focus is good. And if we turn over, and if every department was happy, I'd move on. Because I found that I would be slowing down production by having to I'd watch my stuff. Can we go again? That's an extra 5 minutes. On every take, it's long. And that's why Josh, who we gave a shout out to earlier, came in for like a day to shoot most of the heavy stuff. The opening shot of Watchtower, which just starts as a shot of the keys, and then we follow Sophie all through the house. We find Freddie by the car, the camera goes round, Sophie gets in, we get in, climb the door. That was all one shot. We did that about 6 or 7 times. Because that was technically focused, the beats, Sophie going maybe too far, the keys not being for all these little things. But once we got it, I didn't want to go again. Like, good, is everyone happy? Fine, let's moving on. That's why Watchtower was quite stressful. So yeah, the shower scene, 1. Also with performances and crying and stuff like that, I felt it, Sophie felt it. The DOP, Chiro, the DOP was like, whoa. So when that happens, you think let's not bother trying for a take 2. I know the editor sometimes would like another option just in case, but I tend not to give it to Craig. Good. Next question.
Yeah. Can I just?
Oh yes. She's got a hot mic.
Yeah.
No one's taking it off her. Great.
No, I was just going to say again. You've already mentioned about the opening scene in Watchtower.
Yeah.
What did you use as fake foam?
Oh, there's so we put sticky sort of glue, but it's like glue that's edible on my mouth, and then I bit into a Alka-Seltzer tablet and swallowed a little bit, so you get lots of spit, and then you spit it back up, and then it fizzes in your mouth. It's like taking a Barocca or putting a Mentos into a Coca-Cola. It fizzes a lot. That was take 7 that we used. That was the last take. We had limited amounts. We had 1.5 capsules. So we did 1, and it went whoosh, and I was like, "That's too much. It looks like I'm just vomiting. It needs to be just dried stuff." By the take 7, it was stuck so much that it wasn't even dribbling. It just looks like a slug on my face. But everything else worked. Camera worked, focus worked, Sophie's performance, my performance, that thing. And I look back on that, and I think I wish there was a little bit of movement, that he was still being spit, but it just looks like this little wet cloth on his face. We had 1.5 tablets of that. And I got really happy with the first one. I just bit into it thinking nothing's going to happen. I was like, Sophie, I can't talk. And it was just like clouds coming out of my mouth. Thank you. Good.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Alex.
No worries. Thank you for being here. Next question. Anyone?
Let's do one from the live.
Yes, the one from the live, because you're all rubbish.
So there is one asking, what advice would you give other creatives, which I think could also work for what advice are you giving us and yourself for the adventure of feature filmmaking now?
It goes back to having people around you that you really trust and stuff like that. That's my biggest thing with creative advice. Also, nothing is wrong. That's the biggest thing. Nothing is wrong. And if that's the way you want to do it, figure out a way of doing it. I sent Watchtower to George Webster. George Webster's here, everyone. Give him a round of applause. He wrote DVR. When I say wrote, there's no dialogue, so I don't know why I'm clapping for you. You created a document. Thank God for you, Watson. And I sent Watchtower to to George after I've sort of written it with Nicky in mind, because me and you were talking. You sent me a message saying, "Have you got anything for 2 people, like two actors that I can shoot in a day, that I can shoot in a day?" And I thought, yeah, I'll send this to him. Do you remember? Yeah, and do now. And I wrote Watchtower. I sent him, and you sent it back saying, "That's something that you said that you could never do, but that's something that I could do." And that was really sweet, because it was, how long? 5 minutes left. Okay. Was that it was just, it's about trust. I was happy to send it to him.
You're lying.
Oh.
You're lying.
Please tell me.
Better for you.
Okay,
You said it to me.
I did.
And before I even finished reading it, you messaged me saying, I think I need to direct.
I love that. Before he even opened the PDF, I was like, no, actually, this is really fucking good. I'm gonna do it myself. I love that. But again, it's about happy to send it to people, and there's a question that's kind of part of it. It's like if you're in a creative rut, and I know me and Alana, who's the brilliant art department from Here We Are, so give Alana a big round of applause. We talked a lot on Instagram about being in creative ruts and stuff like that. Is that if you have the energy and the passion and the thing, things will work out. And I know that's a sort of blanket statement, but the reason why these things got made, and it's the biggest thing that it's not to tap myself on the back, but I'm the most driven person that I know.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Yes.
That's it. Honestly, I will get things done. That's it. That's how these things have happened, isn't it? That's
Yes.
And if you can find a little bit of drive and a little bit of creativity, then you'll get stuff done. It's not really advice. It feels like I'm shouting. Get stuff done. Be driven. But it has that. I look to people like my mother-in-law, who's someone who's also very driven, and she's an inspiration to me, because she constantly is getting stuff done and super independent, and I love that. And I surround myself with people that either are willing for me to get stuff done, like, yes, we'll come with you, we'll do that for you, or just be around people that are also creatively inspiring. George Webster being one of them, Sophie Hopkins being the Harvey Quinn. I surround myself, my close-knit friends are people who are driven and creative and passionate, and I love them, each and every one of them. So yes, good, thank you. Right, this is the last question. Yes, last question. Right, please make it a good one. Yes. Oh, of course it's you.
I'm under pressure.
Yes, you are.
So,
Hi.
wow. I had a question about, because music seems to take such a huge part of your short film.
It does, yeah. I didn't realise how important music was after watching all of it. Going, God, the music is really integral. Yeah.
And I just wanted to know, about the process. Do you write the scenarios and then think about the music, or do you sometimes hear something that makes you think about?
Different processes for different ones. Lola and Here We Are, very much script written, get into the edit, find the composer, same composer for both, Chris Hyson. Watchtower was, we were filming and I was sending bits to Luke Friend, who was part of Yellow Belly. I was sending him clips on my phone that were filmed off the monitor, so he got an idea of certain stuff. With I Am One, me and Eve talked even before we started filming, and I sent her loads of cellos and violins, and sent her some crazy music, and said I kind of want this vibe before I went into it. With Shula Summer, for me and Ev, we've created a Spotify playlist with all these wonderful songs that if you press play on the start of the Spotify playlist and you get to the end, it tells you the story of the movie, sort of. And that helps us write, that helped us go into what happens now. That would be a great theme song for that one. So it's depending on the project. But music's integral. It's integral. We watched the first edit of Here We Are, and I almost cried. I thought that there was no movie there. I was like, good fucking grief, what have I done? I wasted, wonderful PJ and Phoenix Rising Media's time and talent, and Ferdinand Kingsley and wonderful Emma McDonald. I wasted all the time. We sat there, didn't we? I was like, Nicky, there's no film here. You introduce music to it. Aha. There's a story. And what Chris did in the music was that he had 2 notes. He had a note for Ferdy and a note for Emma. And you won't notice it because they marry each other. They play together. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're in the bed. Boom, 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 boom. So he's putting the music. He's basically notes. Genius. I could never have asked for that from Chris, but Chris decided that's what he wanted to put into the movie. It's allowing people who are creative to go for it. I've never, with something like Neve, I had an idea. I want, these are the sort of sounds that I want. I don't know when you want to put those sounds in. So then Neve came back with the school, versions of it. We tweaked it and we tweaked it. It's allowing creative people, talented creative people, to go for it, and then come in and take the glory. Thank you so much. Just before,
Very good last question.
thank you very much. Before we go, we're all going to meet outside in the front because we're going to a place called the Conduit, which is it's a 6-minute walk away. 12-minute walk. 8.5-minute walk. But we'll meet outside, okay? So don't go anywhere, go to the toilet. Thank you so much for being here. It's not over. And thank you, you two. Lots of love. We love you. Bye-bye. Great. Thank you so much, everyone.